Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the third episode of the Foil Fellas podcast. As you know, I'm Entertainment.
Hi, I'm Abaddon, Petito, David.
And I'm Sleazy P, and I have a very special guest and friend on today, and it is the creator of LOLCow TCG, Tuffy.
Hey, hey.
How you doing today, Tuffy?
Oh, not too bad. Living the dream.
Well, I really appreciate you taking your time out of your busy Saturday, brand new father, to kind of talk shop with us. So let's kind of get right into it here. Kind of like we were talking before. What kind of led you into TCGs in your life? What kind of started this all for you?
Long story short, back in 1999, my mom was taking me and my siblings to the Pokemon League, and lo and behold, that's kind of what really got me started into that, and played in a tournament, won it, and that gave me the competitive fire for card games. So throughout the last 25 years, I've played Magic and Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all those games competitively and everything. And you know, eventually it led up into, hey, I'm 36 years old, can't really do the grind anymore, so might as well start making card games.
Absolutely, man. That's amazing. So what got you in? I know that we were talking a little bit before this. What got you into kind of the judging aspect of it? Because you were an MZO, correct? Back with MetaZoo?
Yes, yes. Actually, I was a level one judge for Magic the Gathering a long time ago, and
Oh, cool.
I would run Magic tournaments locally. And it's one of those things where you get better at a game when you understand the rules in a more deep sense.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get better at Magic, and that led me into being a Magic judge. And MetaZoo, when I got into that, I seen that the competitive scene was really young. The just the back end of it, the tournament organization, and judge program was really new. And eventually, I decided, hey, I would really want to help this game and make sure that tournaments go really well and that sort of thing. So I got into the whole judging thing of that, and became a master MZO. Uh, I think I was one of the like five or six in the beginning of that.
So you were, remind me, you had joined the program with MetaZoo during UFO or a little bit during Nightfall? I forgot.
I believe I started as an MZO around that time.
Okay.
And then they came out with the Master MZO test, and I took that immediately and ended up passing that the first time, which was essentially just a twice as long regular MZO test. So
That's crazy.
So that's really freaking cool, man. What led to kind of that judging aspect into, I guess, the creation of LOLCow, your game now?
oh, I mean, it didn't really have too much to do with like the judge program or anything, but basically, I was judging, and I decided to kind of step away from MetaZoo about I'd say a year before they declared bankruptcy, and
Hmm.
a buddy of
Kind of
mine
saw
was
the
like,
writing
"Hey,
on the wall, you know?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah." Like when you're behind the scenes
Hmm.
of things, you're able to see a few more things going on than what's public, and yeah, it was pretty rough.
Got out before the
So
water got too deep.
right, exactly. But yeah, I ended up stepping away as a judge and just wanted to play and make money because it was really easy to make money in MetaZoo
Yeah.
playing the game. And then a buddy of mine, lifelong buddy, I met him back when I was like 13, 14, and I'm 36, so it's been a long time. But he was like, "Hey, you want to make a card game with me about LOLCows?" And I'm like, "What the hell is a LOLCow?"
and honestly, I think a lot of people, even Sleazy himself, were kind of in that same boat when LOLCow first popped up. I grew up chronically online, so I had an idea of, Boogie and kind of some of the other people, but
Yep.
yeah, Sleazy,
Yeah,
that's
everybody knows a LOLCow. Like,
Yeah.
at least one.
How would you describe LOLCow to people who haven't heard of it?
Oh.
So, um, so there's two different things. I do want to differentiate like the real life LOLCows, the people that are considered LOLCows, from our game. So real life LOLCows are the crazy people of the internet. You know, Boogie. You have Christian. All those crazy people that are on the internet.
Dr.
Doing
Disrespected.
exactly. Dr. Diddle specs and everything else. So, um, but yeah, like, you have them, and then in our card game, we take inspiration from a lot of these characters,
yep.
and so we have our own characters in the game, our own lore that is in the land of Acronia, and there's scribes, which are the people that kind of document the locales, and the YouTubers that make videos about the in real life locales. Those are considered scribes. So we actually have quite a few as affiliates and work with quite a few of those content creators, and they are the actual scribes on the cards. Um, and then there's the locales, and then there's trolls. And the trolls that we have in the game are actual trolls too, that make content and kind of troll the locales. But yeah,
Yeah, I think it's gonna turn into a situation where might have to turn Nikocado into a troll now that he's kind of fooled everybody on the internet, you know?
that was really interesting. Like when I seen that, I was like, no way. And then, I mean, did he actually lose weight?
It appears so, unless he has some crazy long lost twin that we never really knew about.
Okay, all right, yeah. Um,
um No, but going into like I'm literally holding a couple cards right now. I got my golden tape, my Wario Soft Fatty, and like you said, kind of your own style art and kind of pieces of Acronia. The Council's Verdict, one of my favorite cards, just because I like that dark art type looking stuff. And it's super interesting. Also shout out Sleazy for hooking me up with a lot of these cards. He's an absolute legend for it.
I got you, big dog.
But yeah, so I mean, really kind of when you spoke with your friend about it in regards to like making this game and like you said, you were like, what the hell is a LOLCow? Like many of us already have. What kind of made you step in and be like, yeah, this is something I find interesting. I wanna get into this. I wanna help. Was it? I'm sure it in partial was because of a lifelong friend, but what else kind of piqued your interest with it?
well, so before this, we were actually going to work on another card game, but it was just going to be like the dragons and wizards kind of thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got busy with uh, doing a few other things in MetaZoo and all that. And but when I was pretty much out the door with MetaZoo, um, I was also working on another card game called Booster Brat. I was the head dev for gameplay of that, and so I was doing that. And when I was doing that, he approached me about it. And I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do this. Like I was just like, yeah, okay, I don't know what a lolcow is. But then when I started researching into it, I was like, wait a minute, this is crazy
Mm-hmm.
because the term lolcow has been around for well over a decade,
Yeah.
and 4chan, Reddit, all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, these this is like the cryptids of the internet. And my So what I always said about MetaZoo is that their biggest fan base are in nursing homes. So like cryptid, the whole cryptid thing, like there's a lot of fans of cryptids that are younger, but I think a vast majority are going to be our audience. And when I seen the LOLCow thing, I was like, okay, these are online gamers. Like everybody that's into LOLCows has probably played Magic or played some kind of digital card game like Hearthstone,
Yeah.
and it was just a completely untapped market. So I've had businesses in the past and everything, and so when I see that, I'm like, this is pretty big. And
After looking into, just seeing millions of people into the LOLCow stuff, I'm like, nobody's done this. Why? So,
Somehow you sound better.
I'm using an actual microphone.
Oh, that explains it.
But
Carry on, Tuffy.
but yeah, so after researching it and seeing that millions of people were into it, I was like, why hasn't anybody made a card game like this before? And
Right.
funny enough, back in 2021, Keemstar and Boogie were actually working on kind of not a LOLCow game, but kind of a content creator game. And I didn't even know that
Yeah,
up
like
until
a
here recently.
degenerate type game. Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, after that and seeing all the interest, I was like, hey, we have to put out cards like ASAP. And having so much experience like with card games and all that, I'm like, okay, we want to make a game that is fun and also skill matters, that sort of thing. And so within just a couple weeks, we were able to come up with a good solid foundation for the gameplay of the game, and have 10 cards put together for our first set. And I was like, okay, we want to get this out now. We don't want to wait 2 years. We don't want to wait a year. We want to get it out now. And lo and behold, we were lucky enough that tons of people were interested, and we put up 333 um, sample packs up for sale,
Mhm.
and they sold out within the first 30 days. So
And
It's when
shit.
you know you have something,
yeah, and that was July of last year. So a little over a year ago is when we put out our first set, Volume Zero, and since then we've had 7 set releases. The biggest one so far has been 50 cards, but our next set is going to be around 80.
Okay, wow. Now is that going to be like I guess you guys don't really have core sets yet per se, but that's not going to be the Halloween set that's been teased already, right? Or is that going to
So,
be
so we were going
real
to do a
world?
Halloween set, but we
Okay.
decided to go ahead and pivot because I really wanted to make this exciting, and we have a new uh, graphic artist for the cards, and
Okay.
so he's big time into sports cards and card games and all that kind of stuff. And I met him through MetaZoo actually, but he's been working on that and he's been making them looking banger. So we're doing alternate versions, full art versions. There's going to be one of ones, one of tens, that sort of thing in the set. And the set is based on kind of like if LOLCows were horror movie characters.
Okay.
That sounds super cool, actually.
I'm about the horror movie life, so that'll be very exciting to see. I mean, just like you said, the fact that we're gonna do more full arts, more like of tens, of ones even. Even the full arts that are available now are super crazy. Like the giant robot, like I absolutely love it. And I know that you said the sample packs were last July. Sleazy, when did you get into LOLCow?
Oh man. So fun times. If you haven't been listening, obviously everyone knows I'm in the military. And I was deployed earlier this year and last year, and I would work night shifts. So obviously I had to keep myself entertained. They gave me a computer. I was like, all right. So I already knew what LOLCows were. I knew who Chris Chan was because I was there from the beginning, but I never like jumped into it. So as
Sure.
I had unmonitored computer access to a degree, I started, it was like, all right, let's watch the comprehensive history of Chris Chan again. Like obviously it's been budding. They popped up in the news for the event. If you're not familiar, it's interesting and terrifying at the same time. But yeah, and then I started, consuming more content for LOLCow. So I was like, wow, this is heinous. Daniel Larson is a monster. Cyrax, ugh.
Yeah, it's so bad you can't look away, you know?
Yeah, and then obviously I was heavily in the MetaZoo and heavily in the trading card community. A lot of people knew who I was, so gotta expand my palette.
Yeah.
And then I started getting stuff for LOLCow, and I was like, holy shit, this is pretty fucking cool. So, and I didn't pull the trigger on it. I wish I did earlier, but then you find yourself in the community, and you're like, wow, this is fucking badass. And then, months down the line, I'm getting ready to get home, and then I started talking to Tuffy, and it was just like, just a big set of open arms, like, get in here, dog, we got you. And I've been embraced by the community ever since. Well, there's a lot of great people, artists, content creators, everyone from the top down. It just became a community I want to wrap myself in, and I want to be a part of. So
Yeah.
that's how I
And
really shotgun blasted myself into the LOLCow TCG. I
and I
love you,
feel
Tuffy.
I feel like you've always kind of been like that, a beacon of light and hope,
Integrity?
integrity in
Integrity.
whatever community you've been a part of. So it's really nice to see you get the recognition that you deserve in LOLCow. I you deserve it. So
Yeah, Sleazy really does. He's been absolutely awesome. Like, and when he says that we have a really great community around it, surprisingly enough, the community is absolutely fantastic. That's one of the things that really kept me into MetaZoo for a while. It wasn't so
sure.
much the gameplay or any of that kind of stuff. It was the people, and I can say that the people surrounding our LOLCow TCG community has been absolutely amazing. Like charity work and everything else. Like Sleazy, he just did some charity auctions here recently. So yeah.
Yep, I was there. I was a part of that. That was a absolutely wonderful time, and I can't think of him enough for putting that on. That was a good because, like you said, it was about the community. That's why I still talk with David and Sleazy and so many others from MetaZoo, because that was the true core, really the fun part of why I was still into MetaZoo until the very end, and it's nice.
Am I good to do a shameless plug right now?
You can.
I want to shout out Nick Strength of Pokemon because he's also running a charity auction on his eBay for an uncut LOLCow sheet for his promo card. So you can actually start to see that just because the subject matter of the cards is the depraved and mentally deficient and just absolute dregs of society, the people who are in the cards separate themselves from the subject matter of the cards and do a lot of good. So that's another facet of why I've clung so tight to this community and everything. Is it's not selfish, it's selfless, and that's what I'm really enjoying about that.
Yeah, and I see it whenever I'm popping into the Discord. Like if I compare that the LOLCow TCG Discord to really any of the other Discords that I'm a part of for any other card game, the LOLCow Discord, everybody's talking about their day. They're sharing stories. They're talking about the cards. They're talking about what they're doing in life. A lot of the other channels you go to, and it's just like, "Good morning," with like two reacts, and that's like the only message that's sent in a week. It's really special to see another community like that because as I've said before, I wasn't too big into TCGs until MetaZoo, so it's nice to really have another card game that I can call home. And Sleazy was gracious enough to show me how to play through tabletop just a few weeks ago. Super easy to pick up. Um, super chill games. Like you don't have to do a whole lot of thinking. Obviously, there's still strategy in it, but you're not like, oh, I got to think 7 moves ahead right now. It's for lack of a better word, basic to a core that is easy to pick up and understand. And I'm excited to get David to play it. I'm excited to once my
You
schedule starts
know,
looking a little bit better, get into the league nights on Saturday that you guys have that is through tabletop, and hang out with all of those wonderful people.
Yeah,
I'll definitely be. Sorry, go on.
oh no, go ahead.
It will definitely be cool to pick it up and learn it. Entrance has definitely been trying to get me to play on tabletop sim, which has been slightly busy, but I can't wait to get into it. It sounds
We've
like it's
all
gonna be
been
fun.
busy, brother. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things about the games that I've worked on is I try to focus on making sure that they're easy to learn, but again, skill matters. So
Yep.
like
Easy to
even
learn,
even
fun to
people that have
master.
been playing since the beginning, uh, they catch on to new kind of quirky card interactions. And sometimes I have to give hints. I don't like doing that, but it's so early and that kind of thing. I'm like, okay, uh, I always feel like my job is to build the roads and the players choose which ones to travel down.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's also I look at it as like there's not like a consistent meta. Like there's not a baseline like this card is going to win you these games. Period.
Yeah, I
That's
remember
like
when
there's no like set meta. Like
yeah, when we played when we played our first games, there were some other players that had joined us, and they were you and them were talking about like a combination of chaining and cards that like completely changed like the course of what kind of like you said was like, oh, this card might be meta, but then all of a sudden you found an out for it, you know?
yeah. So it keeps it interesting and it keeps it like it's it's fast paced, but it's not like an egregious deadlock, you know?
Yeah. Yep. And games go by pretty darn quick. Um, as somebody who is a Coloradan, I love the 420 life points.
I
It's always funny.
no other card game has done it yet, so I'm like, hey, we might as well.
Which is crazy when you think that there's an actual card game revolving cannabis.
Right? Yep.
So I know that you said that you've kind of pivoted for the upcoming, I guess, now to be horror alternate set. What else can we look forward to here? Maybe within the last quarter of this year, coming into next year. Like, what should we keep an eye out for?
So our big release is that, and by the
Okay.
end of this year, I'm hoping to have uh, the full release of our 2-player theme deck set. So
Yes.
recently we had the pre-release 2-player theme deck sets out, and what I wanted to do was get those out to people and kind of get some feedback, like, hey, how do you guys like these cards? And
Hmm.
there's been nothing but positive feedback, and so I'm like, okay, uh, we're gonna go ahead and do a full release soon, but it's not gonna be the same cards from the pre-release because certain scribes have turned into LOLCows. So the scribe deck is definitely changing. The LOLCow deck is going to change a little bit, but not too much. And yeah,
It's always lovely when your roster changes throughout the seasons.
yeah, that's been the craziest thing. Like the community is great, but
Yeah.
if you're really big into LOLCows, sometimes some of those people are kind of like hidden LOLCows themselves. So
Yeah.
um, it gets interesting. Like one of our affiliates here recently, Bo Blacks, he went from uh, being a well respected scribe in the commentary community to straight up LOLCow crazy ass person, and I'm like, okay, well, he's not an affiliate with us anymore, and
Of course.
he had a he had a card coming in the WTF Horror House set, and I'm like, okay, we're just gonna change that to a LOLCow now. So yeah, one less scribe.
Go on.
Gotta roll with the punches somehow.
Yeah. I mean, it's it just happens like that. So
It's a fucking slippery slope between scribe and LOLCow.
it's,
When you start, smoking on your own stock, man, you're kind of screwing yourself. So I really hope I don't see any more scribes become LOLCows in the future. I really don't.
Yeah, we want it the
it's
other
gonna
way
happen.
around. We want to see the LOLCows turn into scribes,
There's some who are trying, but it ain't working out too hot. Shout out White Bowser, I guess.
Yeah, once you become a LOLCow, that's pretty much it. Like you can graduate to this isn't in the game, but cringe cows and horror cow. So that's like the next two steps. But horror cow is like the worst. So
Horror
I
cow.
don't want to even imagine how bad it gets.
Cyrax is by definition a horror cow.
oh yeah, the goblin, the goblin of Akron. He's a cryptid himself.
That's
The
amazing.
scum of the earth, the gum that you scrape from the
walks like
bottom
a
of your
cryptid.
shoe.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't trust something that doesn't have shoulders. But I digress. You know what? Without these stick twisted individuals, we wouldn't be here now. So they deserve a very minute, minuscule, microscopic thank you. But that's as far as it goes.
Exactly.
I ain't paying them, but I'll be like, yeah, thanks.
Fantastic. Sleazy, David, any other questions you might have? Anything you want to talk about here?
Tuffy, top 3 LOLCows, go.
Buggy, Christian, and I mean, Boogie, Christian, and Cyrax are pretty much the epitome of LOLCows, or LOLCow, cringe cow, and horror cow. So,
Secondary question. When are we going to see Mr. Based NYC?
I don't know if have you guys seen what happened last week about that?
Have you seen what happened last night?
No, I didn't, but I know that Josh didn't Josh, isn't he a primary suspect for a murder right now?
Maybe.
he is.
We're waiting on that. But
What happened
I
last
want to
night?
see how that goes. He's not he can't go to jail. He has to go on his cruise in 12 days. He lives
So
paycheck to paycheck.
it's Mr.
I don't keep
Based
up with
or
LOLCows.
Josh that's the murder suspect.
I want to believe that Josh may have been an accessory or a witness. I don't think he has the wherewithal to commit said crime.
Yeah.
He's crazy, yeah, but I don't think he has the gall to do something like that,
Yeah, we'll
Yeah, I
have
need
a
that.
Mr. Base card. we'll have a Mr. Base card soon.
Mr.
Okay.
Base.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy is he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't have any further questions. Entra, David?
I think I'm good on questions too.
I mean, Tuffy, anything else you want to plug? Any shameless plugs for you, good sir?
I mean, I'll go ahead and plug everybody that's been working behind the scenes on the game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name everybody, but basically we have a team of over 20 people that work on the the card game from gameplay development to all the back end stuff, to like talking to the affiliates and planning sets and you name it. And then also we have over 20 artists that we tap for the game, and we have really a world class art team. Like this next set is gonna blow minds. I will say that. Like with the alternate arts and everything. I mean, the it's what we call a WTF set. So kind of like Marvel, where they do, oh gosh, I gotta think.
Elseworlds, What If?
What if?
Yeah, so kind of like when Marvel does their what if sets, or not sets, but what if comics and everything. Uh, that's what our WTF is. So we just couldn't use what if, so we were like, well, WTF. So we have like our a Danderson card is a Danable Lecter. So
It is
and
funny to think about.
Fucking Larson.
yeah, one of our affiliates is Biff the Werewolf. So we have an American Biff in London.
That's cool.
That's fantastic. Because I have
Super
the
excited
Bit the
for that
Werewolf.
card.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah,
And I'm guessing
we
stats and everything is going to be different for those as well.
Oh yeah, like they're brand new cards.
That's amazing. I'm very excited for that because like you said, it'll be very interesting to see what's been added, what's been changed, what's been removed when the official, 2-deck set comes out in comparison to the pre-release. See what people, even change from that, depending on, what sort of, I guess, staples come with the new precons. I'm excited to see it as somebody who's played a few games already. So
Yeah, there's a card called Pot of Mead that is definitely going to be staying in the theme deck set. I don't know if you've seen that one yet or not, but it costs one, and you draw two cards. So we definitely had a little bit of inspiration from another game, if you know what I mean.
There.
I
Such a good
believe I see what you did there.
Right.
That's what's up. That's what's up, Tubes.
You gotta love cards like that also, so because
Yeah.
people, they understand how to use it as soon as they get it in hand.
Yeah,
I actually have a question for you, Tuffy, real quick.
Yeah, shoot.
So you have these sets coming out, mini sets, Volume 0, Volume 1, Volume X, the holiday sets, the WTF sets, but you didn't have to keyhole yourself to Kickstarter. Like you put out the sets and they generate essentially the revenue to substantiate it. Like is it kind of like a breath of fresh air that you're not having to keyhole into Kickstarter and
Yep.
and like your community is behind you, so I'm gonna use the word viciously and wholeheartedly, that your product gets out there and it's where you want it to be. How does that make you feel that basically how does it make you feel not needing Kickstarter?
I love it. Personally, I do not like Kickstarter because here's my thing about Kickstarter. You see so many of these games, do a Kickstarter, they get a big they raise like, the game that I worked on before that I am no longer affiliated with or anything like that. They did 49K for their Kickstarter, set a goal of like 22K, and took an additional 4 months to fulfill uh, on their estimated date. And you know, it's like it's a really small team that was doing that. Like it was like the owner and his girlfriend, pretty much. Um, and I don't know if they're gonna have a second set, but then you see, other games like here recently, Nom Nom. Nom Nom, they have issues with their printer from here in the US. So now they're going to have to go to another one, and they're already a few months late to their, estimated arrival date on their Kickstarter.
Right.
And so my thing is I would rather use Kickstarter as a kind of more of a promotional thing than relying on a Kickstarter to kickstart a business. But I just don't like Kickstarter. I think it's more, I like to call it grift starter because it's more of a grift. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
if you can't build your game off of Kickstarter, then I don't see I don't see how Kickstarter is going to make it for you. Or you have to be prepared. Like if you have a game, Altered is a really good example of doing it right because they had a team, a business team already put together. They had everything designed. They had a shit ton of money already invested into it. And could they have done it without Kickstarter? Yeah, So I don't like Kickstarter at all.
But
I think it sets people up to fail.
But to follow on, like it's inevitable that there will be delays. Like you're relegated to the printers. Like once it hits the printers, you're looking at the clock, waiting for them to handle their business.
Yep.
We can just assume delays will happen at some point in time. It's an inevitability, right?
Yeah, I mean we've experienced our own delays.
But I've seen you genuinely supplement the delays. Like you're not going, too bad, so sad, fuck off. Wait for the product to come out. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. But you're consistent, and you care about your community enough that you're gonna give them that like verbal or physical, bolster post the delay.
Yeah, communication's key, and we've seen how no
we've seen
communication
how
leads to problems.
delays lead to basically riots in the fucking street.
Yep.
So
yeah, whenever we have delays, I'm like, hey, here's an extra promo card. Sorry guys, and I want to be fully transparent with everything. Like when the printers send me information, I'm like, hey everybody, this is what the printers just told me.
Yeah.
Here's a video that they just sent. Here's hey, it's gonna be a little late.
Keeping everybody up to date on information is probably key in a lot of different aspects.
I mean, like being a part of MetaZoo, we all experience like, hey, guess what? We're gonna have promo packs at this location, and then you go there and it's not there, and they give you no real excuse at all. And I'm like, why can't you just tell us like, hey, something happened, it's not gonna be there like ahead of time? It was just absolutely ridiculous. And so I was so annoyed by all those things in MetaZoo. I'm like, we are going to see what they did and do the opposite. And it's turned out great. Like everybody, gives good words about our transparency.
Yeah, like Sleazy
goddamn
said,
right. Goddamn right.
Everybody is viciously behind you. That communication is key, and the community that's already been built is so kind and understanding in those situations. They understand that shit happens. And kind of going back to what you were saying with Kickstarter, I think it is one of the two things. They either get lost in the sauce because they made too much money and don't really know what to do with it, and then other problems lead from that. Or there's those companies that are like, we don't have a plan. We don't have a plan B if plan A, which is making this money, doesn't work. It's kind of crazy. So the fact that, again, like you said, you're not using Griftstarter and doing things to your own accord and having that community support you 100%, I think is fantastic, and I'm very excited to see that just evolve more and more each month.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like me and my buddy, we started with the volume 0 and everything with $1,000. Like we were like, hey, he's a trucker, and I was just getting out of MetaZoo and kind of floating around doing a few things here and there, and They're like, well, let's give it a shot. And there's so many people that wanted, wanted the product. We were like, okay, let's put out something solid. Sold a bunch, took that money, put it right back in. It just kept on growing and growing, and now we have tons of or not tons, but lots of inventory. And I mean, we have a lot of packs of Volume X still available. Promo cards that we do single promos, um, kind of like how Magic does the secret layer stuff, but instead we just do single promos, and we'll release like 1 to 2 every month. And people love them. We do textured, non-foil most of the time. Sometimes we do foil, and people just love to buy them. And there's not a whole lot of like people looking to flip cards. It's mostly people that are fans of the product, collectors, that sort of thing. So we don't, there's not the whole like stonks kind of thing going on, and it's been really refreshing to kind of see that, because I, you know, I want there to be a solid secondary market.
Sure.
And so, we work with, Roboto and anybody that's, selling on the secondary market to be like, hey, we know you need to make some money. We're gonna help you out and get the secondary going. So all this product that people are buying is actually worth something, later on down the line too. And
Right.
everything we put out is really limited.
You mean to tell me greed isn't paramount, but sense of community is paramount?
Oh,
What?
Yeah, no,
like-
like you were just saying, Tuffy, the whole fact of the matter of, yeah, secondary market's good and all, it shows some life force, but I do think that people turn, I guess, to the dark side, and they're all like, yes, my game's known for having these cards that go for hundreds of thousands of dollars on eBay and all this stuff. It's nice to see when I'm in the Discord or really anywhere else. It's like, oh, I want this card because I need it for play, or I want it because I love the LOLCow, I love the Scribe, those sort of things. It's awesome to see.
Yep.
person who only collects
really is.
Pikachus.
Like when I sell, like I don't do many streams, but the most recent stream, my big thing is seeing smiles on others' faces. So I will push that product until I'm blue in the face. But I don't really want much in return, except a thank you, a smile, and that you cherish what you got. That's my big thing.
Yeah.
So,
And I think you're
but
the perfect person to do that, Sleazy.
but I will say this: I will gatekeep some of these cards because a lot of these cards there are fucking chef's kiss, or it's like, you know, you have like something you've been invested in, like a LOLCow or a Scribe that you've been watching for however long. Now you have that physical product in your hand, that you have that little tighter relation to that core subject. That kind of also bolsters the deal.
Yeah, it's like for me with, a wrestling fan, like I get a shirt and I'm like, yeah, I have what I like, and I can enjoy it. Like I literally, some of the cards you got me, Sleazy, I have them sitting on my desk, and I'm one of those weirdos that'll just walk by my collection, just kind of stand there, like nodding my head, like nice,
Oh, I do that. I do that all the time. I just stand in my office and put my hands on my hips and go,
Yep.
yep, there's a lot of money right here. I ain't never letting it go.
So I mean, kind of, to just let these people know, what I mean. Obviously, there's the Discord, the LOLCow TCG Discord, if you guys want to join into that. And then, what's the URL for the website if people want to get packs, Tuffy?
For the shop, it's shop.lolcowtcg.com, but you can just go to lolcowtcg.com to click on the shop or check out all the cards. We have the card database and everything on there, and we are improving the website here pretty soon, where the database flows really well. You'll be able to search cards by artist, by name, by LOLCow, multiple different functions there.
That'll be really exciting to see once we also start getting those horror variants as well.
Oh,
Be
yeah.
able to directly compare it, especially if you have the horror card and you don't have the old one, or vice versa.
Yep. The horror set is going to be a lot of fun too, because each pack is going to have 3 cards. But there's all kinds of variants and everything, and we are making it to where if you crack packs, you're going to have a blast. So
Hell yeah, man.
that'll be available for pre-order here sometime this next week. I'm going to say maybe Tuesday or Wednesday.
I'm excited, man. I'm gonna keep an eye out for it for sure. Make sure I get that shared out to everybody that I know as well.
And if you
And-
go to shop.lolcowtcg.com/sleazyp, you'd be helping me out. Just saying.
There you
More
go,
than
folks.
likely, if we're not up to date with everything LOLCow, there will be somebody keeping us up to date, Mr. Sleazy.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, especially when his card comes out. Whoops. Did I say that?
Ooh. Oh, dude, I'm gonna have to get my hands on some of those. Get my hands on some of those.
Yeah, it's in the
That's
works.
gonna be awesome.
I will be immortalized.
Well, Tuffy, I really appreciate you, kind of going into everything and just sharing the life force of LOLCow with us. One final thing to kind of just wrap this all up here. We've kind of hinted at it in our last episode, and I want to kind of just get into just a tiny little bit. Let's see if we can get some good laughs from some of that old MZ community that we're bringing into LOLCow. Give us a interesting behind the scenes judge story from MetaZoo. Let's
Man.
let's hear some zesty stuff here. As much as you're wanting to share, man.
I'm here for this one.
I have countless stories on the judge stuff, but here's a funny one. So in Roswell, Saturday morning, actually the judges for Roswell was me and a few others. Actually, me and 3 others, and most of us get there Friday, and there's no Ubers or anything like that. But Texas Ted, being as cool as he was like, we're gonna make sure that everything's good on that front. So I think, what was it? It was me, Fajir, Andy, and Ted that rode in a vehicle together over to the hotel. But anyways, so we get to the hotel, and then we go over to the convention center place that the whole UFO release was going to happen at. And we walk in, and Andy was like, well, congratulations, everybody. Y'all are going to be blowing up balloons today. And I'm like, what? So, and they didn't have a balloon machine or anything like that. They had us blow up balloons with our mouth, and it was crazy. Like, I was like,
My mouth
I'm
is
here to
sore just
judge.
thinking about that.
So we do that, and I'm like, this is what I signed up for? What? But the next morning, even funnier. So my pants don't fit that I got, like the black khaki pants. I'm like, oh crap, I need a different pair of pants. And Ted's like, well, I got to go to Walmart anyways, so go ahead and come with me. I'm like, all right, cool. So we get there, and as soon as we walk in, Ted's like, hey, so the company credit card isn't working right now. Could you go ahead and buy the supplies that we need? So it was like
Oh,
water
dear God.
and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was like, I mean, as long as I get reimbursed, I guess. So I still have that receipt too. I wanted to get Ted to sign it, but I didn't ask him then. But yeah.
One day when you see him again, man, you're gonna have to bring it up to him and be like, hey, remember this? Can you sign this?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there was one more too. So the water tower, the water tower, what happened there behind the scenes, made me want to completely quit
Sure.
MetaZoo. Yes, I wanted to immediately quit after the water tower, but I couldn't because me and my buddy Jason, we were doing a thing called Metaversity, and we had a podcast going on YouTube, and we were running tournaments and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, I can't completely abandon it. And also, I had a team, GG Unit, that I was managing. But basically, what happens there is the head judge, Kevin, was asking me to confirm his rulings. And I'm like, okay, you're the head judge. You should know this stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a player that got DQ'd for supposedly cheating, which he wasn't. But he flew all the way from California there. But here's the funny part: the player. So let me line this up right. I was doing a deck check.
Yep.
Because they asked, like, deck check this guy all 3 games. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I deck check game 1 and game 3, and after I get done deck checking in game 3, the head judge comes over and says, "Hey, you're DQ'd." And the guy's like, "What? What? Why am I being DQ'd?" And he's like, "Well, for cheating." And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So I asked the head judge, and the head judge is like, "Well, I don't agree with it, but it's coming from the higher ups." I'm like, okay, Fajir was like the head of organized play or whatever. So I go in and talk to him, and he's like, well, he's associated with a known cheater from California. I'm like, well, that doesn't mean that he cheated. Come to find out, he was working for a company. I'm not going to say the name of the company, but he was working for a company that was working with MetaZoo on some digital stuff. And he had a falling out with that company. And the person he had the falling out with was actually hanging out with Andy all day. Come to find out, when Fajir got drunk in the hotel room, he let it out that Andy was the one that wanted the DQ to happen.
Oh,
Makes sense.
The puppet master strikes again.
Yep.
Fucking A.
But it was pretty, like, I knew the dude that got DQ'd also, and like he went out to dinner with me and some other people that night, and he was so depressed and everything. It was insane. And so I was like, this is the kind of crooked shit that I don't like.
Yeah.
And I have morals and integrity, and this company does not. So
There's my favorite word. Integrity.
yeah.
Integrity Farms. Yeah, it definitely seems like you've been able to sleep a little better at night since leaving all of that wonderful stuff behind you. I mean, it didn't really matter. It kind of dissipated anyways. It was going to leave without you if you didn't leave before. So
Well,
yeah.
I seen the writing on the wall after the Caster Cup, because they did not advertise or anything. All that momentum from giving away, $250,000 at the Caster Cup, but there was nothing left after like 4 or 5 months of doing absolutely nothing. What the hell was the point? So,
MetaZoo
and
to the moon.
I was on Team Caster Society. So Easton, he was on the team with us. He was the team captain. He ended up winning the Caster Cup, and so we had a great weekend. But looking forward to, like, hey, what are they going to do next? Like, let's dominate this thing as a team and put out content and everything else, and absolutely nothing. So
it's like I said, better off now for sure.
yeah. Yep. It's easy to see what they did wrong and not do that.
What if
Yeah.
what if the real Caster Cup was the friends we made along the way?
God,
Hmm.
that
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was the real magic that we won.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much again for your time today, Tuffy. I know you're probably busy being a new father and all here on a Saturday, but very excited to just kind of spread the world the word to the world regarding LOLCow. It's gonna
Thank you
be
guys for having me
a
on.
good time.
Oh, of course,
Of
man.
course, dude. Of course. It's gonna be a good time this next year. I'm very excited for the horse set and just everything to come in 2025, man. So
Keep an eye on Netflix. Around the start of the year, there's going to be a surprise.
Oh,
another bomb. I think
Bomb
that
drop.
is the perfect way to end it. Sleazy, David, any final thoughts, questions?
yeah. My final thoughts and statements. Keep an eye on LOLCow TCG and the LOLCows and scribes as a whole. There's a lot of. I'm not going to use the word quality content, but I'm going to say there's always content coming out. So if you are a purveyor and a sponge for social media content, you are not missing out if you jump in because there's always some crazy shit going on. And when there's crazy shit, more cards are coming.
Mhm. David, anything for you?
I
Okay.
think that's a great way to end it. I can't wait to hear more about LOLCow and what comes out of it.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, I appreciate everybody's time. Everybody have a good Saturday, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Hell yeah.